Hello and welcome to another episode of Right Life Kenya, Words That Build. Today we are going to be speaking about something I'm very passionate about, and it is the tagline of this channel and every one of my social media pages, be it my Facebook page, Right Life Kenya, my blog, Right Life Kenya, my Instagram pages, and everywhere that I post. My tagline for this work is Words That Build. So today we are going to be speaking about words and the power of words. We know very well that the Bible encourages us to use positive words. We know that words are powerful beyond measure, whether it is the words that we say to ourselves or the words that we say to other people. Ephesians 4:29 tells us not to let any unwholesome talk come from our mouth, but only that which is beneficial to build others up according to what they need. So how we choose to use our words can either build someone or destroy them. And when it comes to our own selves, it can either build us up or destroy us. So today we are going to be looking at two aspects of how words can affect our lives. We are going to be looking at our internal dialogue, and then we're going to be dissecting the words that other people might say to us or about us. We'll begin with internal dialogue. Our internal dialogue is our inner voice. It is how we speak to ourselves or what we say about ourselves. Now, this is birthed from many different things. First, it is birthed by the thoughts that we have in our minds. It is birthed by our experiences from childhood to adulthood. It is also made up of everything that we take in with our senses, what we listen to, what we watch, what we read, and any content that we consume can directly or indirectly affect how we think and hence affect how we talk to ourselves. Now, it is imperative that we have positive self-dialogue for us to move forward in life or for us to achieve that which we purpose to achieve in life. As Ralph Waldo Emerson said, when you sow a thought, you reap an action. When you sow an action, you reap a habit. When you sow a habit, you reap a character. And when you sow a character, you reap a destiny. So for us to take an active part in shaping out our destiny, we must therefore go back to the very beginning. That is, what are the thoughts that we are thinking? And hence, this affects how we talk to ourselves and how we talk to other people. What are the thoughts we are thinking? This affects our self-dialogue, and then it affects how we act and goes forth to affect our destiny. Another reason why it's very important to check our self-dialogue is remember that while you're on this earth, you're the longest company you have to yourself. So you may have friends, you may have family and all those people, but as long as you live, you're your own company. So why not be in the company of someone who builds you up? Why not be someone who builds themselves up to achieve whatever they're supposed to achieve? So if you have negative self-dialogue, it's like you're living constantly with a person who puts you down. How you talk to yourself then matters because you are your own company for as long as you live. So you need to really check how it is you talk to yourself because it will determine also the quality of your life. So how do we then foster a healthy internal dialogue? How do we change our mindset so that we are not negatively dialoguing within ourselves? We are not talking down on ourselves, but whatever thoughts happen in our mind or how we talk to ourselves through our inner voice is something that uplifts us. So the first thing that we do to achieve this is to first take stock of where we are in terms of the thoughts that cross our minds and how our internal dialogue sounds. So this is just sitting with yourself really and just looking from an observation point of view at how your thought process works. What are the thoughts that go through your mind on a day-to-day basis? For example, when you face a hurdle, be it in school or at work or in your marriage, what are the resounding thoughts that come through? When you go through an achievement, what is it you think about most? When something goes wrong or there's a mishap or you make a mistake, what is it you think about? So it is just taking some time, maybe a day or two or a week, to just observe your thoughts like an observer would without any judgment and trying to see, are most of my thoughts positive or negative? Is my internal dialogue positive or negative? I try to do this by journaling. I find it very useful. So I write down what it is that I'm thinking without filtering, without worrying about how it comes out or grammatical arrangement or anything, just writing down what it is I think about. And then I try to see, am I thinking positively or negatively? So the next step is to evict the mental squatters in our mind. So there are squatters that we'll identify from step one if you do it well. You'll identify either of the squatters that I will share or a combination of them. So the first squatter that you might identify that you have in your mind is the inner critic. This is the person that is always comparing you to other people. Like your thoughts always go like, I'm not as good as so and so. I don't do this like so and so. So this is internal comparison of yourself to other people. Now there's also the aspect of feeling like you have to meet people's expectation about your life, like you have to tick some boxes, maybe that your parents expect this of you, your siblings expect this of you, your teachers expect this of you, your workmates expect this of you. So the inner critic will be always reminding you that there's an expectation you have to meet so that maybe you feel good enough or you feel like you're enough of a person in these settings. So you're always going to be chasing a certain goal or a certain thing to please one person or another. The inner critic also manifests in terms of you holding on to something negative that was said about you for so long and owning those words to become something that defines you. So if your inner critic is a mental squatter in your mind, you'll find that you're comparing your life to others, you're holding on to words that people said about you, and you're always trying to meet people's expectation. Now, how you evict this quarter is by, first of all, planning out your life so that your goal is not to meet others' expectations or to compare yourself to others, but you set goals according to where you are and what you want in life. You set goals so that tomorrow you're trying to be a better version of yourself than you were today, so that the only competition that you have with in your life is with yourself. Today you're trying to be better than yesterday, tomorrow you're trying to be better than today, and so on and so forth. That is a growth mindset. With this, then you're not going to be always critiquing yourself, but you're going to be able to see the progress that you're making each and every single day. It also requires that you forgive and that you heal. If you're holding on to negative words that were said to you and have owned them, you might need to seek help in terms of being able to forgive the people that did this to you. It could be from your childhood experiences or experiences with friends or a loved one or a spouse and such things. So it's a journey you might be able to do yourself, and if you are, that's all good. But if you're not, you can seek counseling or you can talk to trusted people so that you're able to get it off your chest and try to go on a journey of healing. The next quarter in our minds is the warrior. Now, I'm going to put the word here because I know we'll confuse warrior with warrior. And this is a mental squatter that makes you operate from a point of fear. You're afraid to reach higher. You're afraid to step out. You're afraid to take risks. fear is the center of your life. It is the thing against which you make your decisions. You're told about a new prospect, the first thing is fear. I am very passionate about this one because I fall here. And back in 2020, when I started this channel, I think I was trying to get myself out of that space. And then I realized I needed a lot of resource. And for the last 2 and something years, I've been collecting a lot of research and a lot of principles that I have been applying to evict the squatter of worry from my mind. I have collected this and I am about to publish a book called A Warrior's Mind. Again, I'm going to put the word warrior so that we can differentiate it. And the book is essentially about how we can get ourselves from worrying to embracing who we truly are as warriors. So the book collects a lot of principles that I have used, a lot of practical things that I have used to be able to get myself from that state. And I feel it's very key that I share these things with other people so that they're also able to get themselves from there. So the book is not only about worry, it's about many things that we can do to ensure that we stay mentally healthy. It's important that I say that it is a Christian guide to mental health. So it contains a lot of Christian principles that allow us to walk the journey of being mentally healthy in a practical way and drawing from the life of Jesus and also from stories in the Bible. I'm excited that I'll be launching that soon. Please hit me up in the comment section if you'd like to pre-order the book, and I will be glad to send it to you once it's out. I'll also be inviting you guys to the launch very, very soon, so look out for that. So one thing I'll say about evicting worry from your life is that you have to change the center from fear to something that is solid, to something that can assure you that whatever the outcome, you remain to be a warrior, you remain to be strong. It also requires that you take stock of what it is you can change and changing it, and what it is you cannot change and surrendering it to God. So worry is a thing that we all face, but it can be overcome, and you can live a life that is full of joy and that is not marred by the burden of worry each and every day. So the third mental squatter is the troublemaker. Now this comes from a place of a lot of anger, a lot of pain, a lot of frustration. And a person with this squatter in their mind is very hard to control their impulses. So this is a person that has been hurt in the past, that is holding on to this pain and this anger and this frustration and cannot seem to move past it to other things in their life. So their self-dialogue is full of anger, pain, and frustration. And to evict this mental squatter, forgiveness is key, healing is key. Again, I reiterate, if you're not able to walk the journey of forgiveness, the journey of healing alone, you can always seek help from those that you can trust or from counselors. So that's how you evict the troublemaker from your mind. The last mental squatter that I will cover is the sleep depriver. Now, this is a combination of all the mental squatters I have covered. It is a combination of the inner critic, the troublemaker, and the warrior. It is also inclusive of the ruminator, a person who will dwell on things that have happened and not be able to let them go, so much that you're not able to sleep well. It has the rehasher in it. You keep rehashing conversations that have happened in your mind and trying maybe to read between the lines. And it also has the inner planner that you overplan and want details to go exactly as planned for you to be at peace. Now, the sleep depriver, as the name suggests, you're not able to sleep well. So evicting this mental squatter will require some amount of planning around your life, learning when to stop, whether it be activities or something, in order to get rest. Now, since you're not able to get sleep, then it becomes key that you learn some relaxation techniques. You learn stuff in terms of being able to let go, quietening your mind. So things like meditation and prayer come in handy here. Some quiet time, trying to go for a walk alone, taking a detox from social media and turning off your devices before you go to sleep. You can try to replace habits like going with your phone to your bed with something like going with a book to read to bed, because that has been found to be a better way in order to get good quality sleep. You can try to have a routine, wake up, do all that you have to do, and sleep at a certain time. So all these things will help you in terms of evicting the sleep depriver from your mind. So now that we've taken stock of where we are and we've evicted our mental squatters, it's about making the journey sustainable. Now we know that out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. We know that what you fill yourself with is what will come out, whether it be in terms of talking to yourself or talking to other people. So this means that then you need to be very strict with what you feed yourself in terms of the choices you make daily. So you must watch that you're reading the right things, that you're watching things that are uplifting and inspiring, even when it comes to entertainment, that your choices are feeding into your life positive things, that the music you listen to is something that builds you. I'm not trying to be a buzzkill, but everything that we take in will affect our life in one way or another. So even the things we enjoy, we have to enjoy them within the limits of, is this thing in the long run building me up or not? Because we have one life, and if we want to live a full life, then we must make decisions from a point of thinking long term and not short term. So I'll go a stretch and recommend that we can never go wrong by reading the Bible. It will always feed our minds and our souls with the right things. It will always guide us in how to act and how to live in a way that is healthy, in a way that is good for us, not only spiritually, but mentally, physically, and emotionally. So if you're struggling to see how you will begin, you can begin by reading the Bible. As the word of God grows in your heart, then it will be able to guide you even in the choices you make in every other aspect of your life. So this step is all about feeding yourself with the right things. The fourth way to cultivate a healthy internal dialogue is to rest. You know that we get cranky when we are not well rested. When you are tired, you're more prone to get cranky and get angry and speak negatively about things, about others, or about yourself. So rest is important for us to be able to talk to ourselves the right way. We need to learn, even in the business of this life, whatever stage you're in, we need to learn to take a rest and prioritize it each and every day so that we can live in a healthy manner. So this might mean, as I have said before, taking time alone, taking a walk, being quiet for some time, reading a book, immersing yourself into a hobby you enjoy, relaxing over a cup of coffee or something, but anything that quietens your mind from the busyness of the day so that you're able to gather yourself and quiet your mind and be present. That allows you to always be mentally healthy, and it allows you to cultivate a culture of having positive self-dialogue. The last step is repeat. We know that it takes around 21 days for a habit to form. So we need to repeat these things over time so that it sticks, so that we can change our dialogue from negative to positive. We can change our dialogue, our internal dialogue, from unhealthy to healthy. So I encourage that you try these things for around 21 days. And I will give a disclaimer. If you find that over that time your internal dialogue is not changing, then it might mean that you're suffering from a mental health condition that might need assessment and treatment by a trained professional. So if you find that no matter what you do, there's always those negative thoughts in your mind that you're struggling with, that it is prolonged sadness, that you just feel out of sorts all the time, then you need to find yourself counseling. You can find it in churches. Many churches today have in-house counselors that are helping people through any mental health issue. You can find it in hospitals. There are hospitals that offer free counseling services. You can find it online as well. We have free counseling sessions online from some platforms. And you can also go for the paid options. We all need help in some aspects in our lives, and it is no longer the in thing to hide away in our closets and not speak about these things, because as we know, mental health is a really big issue in this day and age, and we all need to keep fostering good habits that bring about the best mental health that we can have so that we can have a full life. So if you find that these steps are not helping you, and you have tried other resources as well and it's not helping you, then it is high time you seek help from a trained professional, and then they'll be able to guide you to the process of healing and to the process of better self-dialogue and better mental health. So now that we've covered what we are saying to ourselves, what about when people say negative words about us? What do we do about that? We've all heard the saying that loose lips sink ships, and we know the trend that is going around.
Wenye walisema hatuendi mbali. Hapa ni wapi? Hapa ni wapi? Hapa ni wapi? Mwalimu wa math ulisema siwezi enda mbali. Hapa ni wapi?
Now, I've been having a lot of fun watching that clip on TikTok and what people are doing around it and showing where they are in life. And it is nice to joke about it. It's quite okay. It gives a light tone to the moment. But when you think deeply about it, we are all sort of scarred in a way by the things people said about us as we were growing up. Sometimes our own parents, sometimes our teachers, our friends, the nicknames we were given and such things. And some people are really struggling to detach their identity from the things that were said about them back then. And there's also the sad bit of trying to live to prove a point that you are not useless, as they said, that you will not amount to nothing, like they said. So, what do we do when people tell us negative things about ourselves? When we work on our internal dialogue, like I have covered before, we are at a vantage point. When we work on our internal dialogue, it means that one, God's voice is the authority that we have on our life. It means that God's voice is what we are listening to. It means that in our brain, we already have God's voice on our side. We know what He says about us, and we already have formed a positive opinion about ourselves. So our internal dialogue is pretty strong. So if anyone comes at you, then you're able to, one, lean on God's word to respond, whether mentally or verbally, or two, use your own voice that you have formed over a period of time to also respond. So it's sort of two against one. It's you and God against whoever is saying these things. But I will give some 3 additional tips that we can use when we find ourselves in situations where people are coming at us with words that do not necessarily build us. So the first step is to reject the words, whether verbally, both verbally and mentally. Now that you know what positive self-dialogue is, you're going to take the words that person said and reject them and refuse them. I do not mean that you get into a confrontation with them. I just mean that you refuse them, and they really don't even have to know that you have refused them. For example, if someone comes at you and says, "How could you make such a mistake? You're so stupid." One, to put it positively, One, you can lean on God's word that says you're fully equipped for every good work, that you're capable, you're gifted, you're strong, you're blessed, you're a holy people, and all sorts of things that you can put there. So you already know that God says this about you, and this person is saying the opposite. So God's word wins in this. Then you can respond verbally or mentally that you made a mistake. You can do A, B, C, D to rectify the mistake, but that mistake is not you. That is positive internal dialogue, that you're owning up to the mistake and what happened, but not necessarily taking the title that you've been given. So this is rejecting what is being said both verbally and mentally. Number 2 is allow yourself to feel the emotions, then forgive the person. When you think about forgiveness, it's this big thing because it seems like it is giving up power to the person that hurt you. I have been in a situation where someone said something very negative about me and I really struggled to forgive them. And over the period of unforgiveness, I was the one who was hurting. This person was just walking around like everything is normal, which made me even angrier. And then I sought God and I told him how I was struggling to forgive this person. And I was reminded that he can help me work out forgiveness in his own time, in his own way. And I did forgive and healing did come, though it took a lot of time. Once I forgave, I could move on. Once I forgave, I realized that I wasn't as angry or frustrated as I was before. So forgiveness is a gift that you give to yourself. It is not a gift that you give to the other person. You have freed yourself from carrying that grudge, from carrying that pain and all that. Forgiving does not mean condoning. It does not also mean restoring that relationship, which will take me to my next point. And when it is hard, you can ask God to help you to forgive. And for sure, when you surrender your feelings and emotions to Him, He will help you to move through them. So my last point, and I'll build it on forgiveness does not mean restoring the relationship, is distance yourself from toxic relationships. Now, forgiving someone does not mean that you restore the relationship, and especially when the negativity is constant, when they are picking your mistakes and always focusing on them. When you present something to them, the first thing that they think about is tearing it apart and showing you how you cannot do it. When negativity is the key communication between you and whoever you're relating with, then that relationship is toxic. And it can even amount to emotional abuse because every time you're trying to do something, then that person puts you down. Every time you come up with an idea, they are the first ones to kick it down. So when a relationship is toxic, the best thing to do after you forgive is to give yourself distance. We have to learn and normalize making sure that our inner circle is made up of people who add value to our lives, people who build us up, people who will celebrate with us when we win and mourn with us when we lose. So we have to sort of have this circle and this boundary where we have a few people who are for us, and then we distance ourselves from people who are negative and people who do not want to see us rise. Hit me up in the comment section, especially on the aspect of forgiveness, and talk to me about anytime that you have felt that you can't forgive someone. What did you do? Or are you still holding on to that hurt? That's everything I had for today's video. I hope you learned something about how to cultivate a healthy internal dialogue, how to deal with negative words from people. This week I want to challenge you to think about whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy. Let's think about such things. Let's also talk to ourselves about such things and talk to other people about such things. Thank you for listening. Cheers.